guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Mads and these are the 10 books that have gotten me out of a reading slump at one time or another. So without further ado, let's get into it. Usually I do categories of thriller, fantasy and romance. I'm not going to be doing categories, but I am talking about those genres. So please stick around. First, I'm going to talk about Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. And I talk about this one because when I got into Sarah J Maas and when it introduced me to fantasy, romance for me was completely ruined. I would read romance books, I would enjoy them. It would just be like a meh experience, almost like a palate cleanser. And I couldn't find that spark. I couldn't find that connection. I couldn't emotionally connect to the characters, even though I liked it and I read it and I rated the books high because I was reading them going, this is a great book. I just didn't have the emotions of falling in love with the character for 2 long, very long, gruesome years until I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. And I seriously have Lynn Painter to thank for getting me back into my romance girly era, because since then I've been reading romance books non-stop and I absolutely eat them up. Better Than the Movies is a incredibly cute, fluffy, I would also say rom-com book. If you like the movie Duff, you are going to absolutely love this book. Now, I actually think that this is a masterpiece. I read this in a day. I was absolutely hooked. I even remember posting on TikTok, I believe I was 25 or 50 pages in, and I said this is going to be my entire personality for a very long time, and this is my new obsession, because I knew that quickly that I was going to love it, and I was hooked that quickly. It is a phenomenal book. I was literally giggling out loud. I was laughing. I was kicking my feet. I was blushing. I have never, ever read such a cute book before. It is cute. It is just incredibly, incredibly, incredibly cute. And the romance is romancing. We've got fake dating in here, childhood friends to lovers, and it's just so much fun. So much fun. Oh god, I love it so much. And the female main character is a absolute fan and lover of rom-com movies. Their romance is better than the movies. I wish I could show you guys a trailer to see for yourselves, but I promise you no one can be disappointed picking up this romance. If you want a really cute, fluffy rom-com, this is for you. You will not regret it. Not a single moment. Oh my god, I ate this up. I hope that this convinces you. I read this and then a week later already wanted to reread. I'm not that type of person. I don't do a lot of rereads unless it's a 6-star read, which this was a 6-star read. The only series I have reread about 3 times is Throne of Glass. I don't usually do rereads except for another book that's mentioned. And a week after. I've never had that before. Truly, I've never had that before. Please go read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. It is worth every single moment and second you spend reading that book. Now, speaking of rereads, I have to mention this book. It is an honor to mention this book. We have Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. Now, this truly is one of my all-time favorite romance reads, and that is saying something because this even surpasses Better Than the Movies. I read this about 3 years ago when I was getting into reading, and since then I have read it about probably 3 to 4 times, all throughout different stages, all throughout different phases of reading as well, and every single time I'm worried that I'm not going to like it how I liked it the first time, I end up loving it even more. Archer's Voice is such an incredible, beautiful story. It is heartbreaking. It is precious. Archer is precious. How Mia Sheridan has written Archer is absolutely beautiful. It is the only word to describe it, and to describe Archer himself. His story is gut-wrenching. He is such a precious, precious person. That is the only way that I can ever describe this book, is precious. I love it so much. But she has the cute moments, she has the romance, she has the gut-wrenching moments, but she also has the steamy moments. This is the first book where I was like, wow, like you can have trauma and smut at the same time and really enjoy it. This is what Archer's Voice is. I have since, like I said, reread it many, many times, and every time I'm worried that it's not going to live up to my expectations in my mind, but it does every time. I have not once read this book, been bored, or regretted rereading it. Ever. Please go read Archer's Voice. I also would like to say that when I was in my romance slump era, I kept reading Archer's Voice because I just couldn't find the feeling anywhere else, and I could get it from Archer's voice. Now this book I read after Better Than the Movies, because Better Than the Movies, like I said, got me back into my romance girly era, and that is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I think that this is a great book because it is quick, easy to read, very quickly hooks you in, and also it's very fun. It's rivals to lovers. I would also kind of say enemies, but definitely rivals. And it's steamy. We love a good steamy book. Is it steamy? I don't even remember. Okay, well that should go to show you. I actually don't remember if there's any smut in this. I know that Ali Hazelwood does write smut though, but the romance plot as a whole, absolutely loved it. This is my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. Hands down. There's some books that I don't particularly like of Ali Hazelwood's, and there's some that I absolutely love, so I was a little bit apprehensive going into this, but I saw every single person rate this 5 stars and I got really curious. I was like, okay, I'll read it. Flew through it. Absolutely flew through it. If you are in a romance slump, Ali Hazelwood to the rescue. Now last but certainly not least for the romance, we have Magnolia Parks. I know that there was just a lot of gasps, there was shocked expressions, there was a lot of flinging around. Magnolia Parks actually did get me out of a reading slump. A lot of these books I have chosen because they have at one time or another gotten me out of a slump, so I know that it might work for other people. Magnolia Parks is addicting. It is Gossip Girl meets London, and it is so toxic that it keeps you flipping the pages. I will warn you though, look at all those tabs. I will warn you though, which I wish I had the warning going in, but it's kind of good that I didn't because otherwise I wouldn't have purchased it. I'm going to give you the warning. There is cheating. Not in the time that the book takes place, it is before. But Magnolia Parks got me out of it. I read this in 2 days. I literally couldn't put it down. It is incredibly toxic, but so intoxicating that it pulls you in. Like toxic relationships, it literally wraps a rope around your heart and yanks you in. This is what this book does. If you like Gossip Girl, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go pick up Magnolia Parks. Sadly, there is new covers. I feel like this is kind of the feeling that everyone gets. I'm not the biggest fan of the new covers, but I know that you can buy secondhand indie covers. Now going into fantasy, we have Heir of Broken Fate, and this is a romantasy. She is so incredibly beautiful. I've damaged my copy, but she is so incredibly beautiful. She has dragons, griffins, mermaids, fae. It's got enemies to lovers, slow burn, who did this to you, one bed trope. It has everything you want and need in a romantasy. Book 2 is coming out early 2024, so if you have not read this yet, definitely read it by the end of 2023. She's on Kindle Unlimited and Amazon, so if you would like to read about a princess who is Delilah, who runs away from her kingdom because her father, the king, is a very, very cruel asshole of a man, to be honest. She runs towards the Fae to ask for help, only to find out that the Fae need her help more, and she needs to save not only the entire Fae race, but magic itself. It is incredible. And if that didn't sell you enough, hi, my name is madsraff. I actually wrote her. I'm the author. I'm very, very proud of her. I put my entire heart and soul into her. It would mean the absolute world to me if you could please give her a chance and read her. She's on Kindle Unlimited and Amazon. I'm currently editing book 2 as I'm filming this. It's going through the beta reader process, and the feedback that I have gotten is making me so beyond excited. So please go check her out and give her a chat. Next up, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I love Jackson That was my dog. Sorry guys, she moved the tripod. I love Jackson Eveline so much. Whimsical. It's very, that's my doggy. I'm so sorry, Lola. She's just trying to sit really close to me, and that happens to be the camera. Once Upon a Broken Heart is not your typical romantasy or fantasy. It is very whimsical. It is very magical, and it is written very much like a fairy tale. It feels like your childhood wrapped up in a book, and the romance is not your typical romance either. This is true enemies to lovers, and not in the way that you guys would think. It's not knife to your throat. It is distrust. It is knowing that this person is not good for you but falling for them anyways. This book, this trilogy is so good that the 3rd and final book in the trilogy just got released, and I've been putting off reading it because I love this world so much. I don't want it to end. That is how good it is. If you know, you know. Absolutely no one can convince me otherwise. Taylor Swift wrote the song The Archer after this book. No one can convince me otherwise. It is absolutely incredible. If you're a Swiftie, where have you been? You need to read this book. Now last and certainly not least in fantasy, we have Fourth Wing. When Fourth Wing came out, I jumped on the hype of it. I read it at the very beginning, the first day it got released, because I kept seeing everyone's reviews from the ARC team and they were very, very high. There is a lot of tabs, as you guys can see. And I was not let down. I'm so glad that I read it during the hype too, because it truly immersed me in the experience of experiencing it with everyone else and absolutely loving it and raving about it. But this book is on the list because it actually got me out of a 3-month reading slump. This book came out, I believe, a week before I released The Heir of Broken Fate. Kind of a bad time. But before this, I was in such a heavy editing process that I didn't actually read, and I couldn't pick up anything without thinking about my own world. So this was the absolute perfect read to fully immerse me in a different world that wasn't my own, from Heir of Broken Fate. And I love her. I love her so much. I cannot wait for Iron Flame. I do believe by the time that this comes out, Iron Flame will be out. I will know my thoughts and opinions on it, but as I'm filming it, it's about 4 days away from Iron Flame being released, and I am so freaking excited. Now going on to thriller, we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This book is incredible. It got hyped up for a reason. I'm so glad that she got traditionally published so that her book can go into all the stores around the world, because wow, this thriller is just so easy to read. When you're in a slump, sometimes you need a very quick and short read, something that's very easy to read, something that's not complicated, something that you truly don't have to put any brain power behind, and that's what The Housemaid is. This is just mwah, chef's kisses. It is quick, it is easy, it is fast paced. You're also left wondering throughout the entire book. You're trying to figure out what's happening. You think you know what's happening, then the ending happens and you don't know what's happening. You never did. And that is the theme for Frida McFadden books. Like, there's just, you can never ever ever predict her books, ever. Or at least I haven't been able to, which is also why Never Lie by Frida McFadden is also on this list. She's very short, she's very sweet, but she is captivating. Now, Never Lie, I'm going to read the synopsis because I truly can never do this book justice. It is so gripping and thrilling. I couldn't put this book down. I read it in one sitting. I needed to know what happened. This is probably, at the moment, because I'm going through all of her books, at the moment this is my favorite Frida McFadden book. It is phenomenal. Newlyweds Trisha and Ethan are searching for the house of their dreams, but when they visit the remote manor that once belonged to Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace 4 years earlier, a violent winter storm traps them at the estate with no chance of escape until the blizzard comes to an end. In search of a book to keep her entertained until the snow abates, Trisha happens upon a secret room, one that contains audio transcripts from every single patient Dr. Hale has ever interviewed. As Trisha listens to the cassette tape, she learns about the terrifying chain of events leading up to Dr. Hale's mysterious disappearance. Trisha plays the tapes one by one late into the night. With each one, another shocking piece of the puzzle falls into place and Dr. Adrian Hale's web of lies slowly unravels. And then Trisha reaches the final cassette, the one that reveals the entire horrifying truth. If that didn't tell you, I don't know what is, because this book is phenomenal. Please read it. Now last but certainly not least, we have another 6-star read. This is my favorite thriller book of all time. Nothing has been able to top it so far. I will never stop thinking about this book, and that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I will never shut up about this book, ever. I absolutely am enthralled by this book. I could possibly be haunted by this book. I don't know. It's absolutely amazing. It is a psychological thriller around a haunted house. Home Before Dark is about Maggie and her family who moved into a Victorian house 25 years ago only to run out of it a couple of weeks later in the middle of the night and to never ever return again. Her father then wrote a best-selling novel on the haunting and what happened and their story, except Maggie has never believed it. This book has haunted her throughout her entire life. She has absolutely no memories from it. That is why she doesn't believe it. So she thinks her entire life that her father is a liar because she just doesn't have any memories about this supposed haunting. So when her father passes away and she finds out that she inherited the said house that no one has ever stepped foot in for 25 years, she gets incredibly curious and wonders why they kept the house if they were to never go back there. So what does Maggie do? She goes back to the house to find out if it's actually haunted. And this book is incredible because it switches between perspectives. It goes from the best-selling book, which tells you the story of what happened when she was a young girl, to the perspective of now when Maggie is an adult. And this book just captures you. I couldn't put it down. It is a 6-star read. It completely changed my rating system. It changed the way I feel about books. It changed the way that I rate books. It changed everything. I could be a little bit biased because I love everything paranormal. I watch Sam and Colby videos. I watch Ghost Hunters. I go on ghost tours myself. I love everything paranormal, and Riley Sager wrote this book so well. He represented the paranormal world and haunted houses so beautifully that I'm absolutely captured by this book. Nothing compares. I keep buying haunted house books and hauntings and everything like that for thrillers, and nothing compares to this book. I think he's truly outdone every other paranormal book. With that being said, please comment down below if you have any paranormal haunted house books and recommendations, because I truly really want to read them, because this one just, I need to read another haunted house book. Okay, please comment down your recommendations. But until then, if you haven't read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, please go read it. I cannot express to you enough how much I love this book. It is truly incredible and phenomenal. And that is it. Those are the books that at one time or another got me out of a reading slump, and hopefully they'll get you out of your reading slump. If you have any book recommendations for me, please comment down below, because I love book recommendations. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go check out all my other videos, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!